You're watching Slingshot The Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power. And today's episode is entitled, It Takes Two. I gotta say it right. I gotta say it like the lyrics.
It takes two to make a thing go right. That's how you gotta say it.
That's how you really gotta say it.
That's how you gotta say it, no doubt.
So if you've enjoyed this podcast, Slingshot The Podcast, over the last several months, you know that so many of our episodes are named after song titles or lyrics. And today's episode, It Takes Two, is named after that hit.
Yeah.
Rob Bass.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock.
Yeah.
But rest in peace to Rob Bass for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to go do it?
I do. Go ahead.
All right, here you go.
Here we go.
That's what, it takes two to make a thing go right. Ha! It takes two to make it outside.
There you go.
All right, then they go, I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm doing the rock microphone because I get stupid. I mean, outrageous. You got to do the WAP with that.
I do the WAP.
All right, so yeah, there you go.
Everybody knows the lyrics.
Everybody knows. If you don't know that, you need to go do your hip hop history, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be probably one of the sleepers of early hip hop.
Yeah.
Because you can still play that song today.
Mm-hmm. It's a club banger.
And people still do.
That's right.
That's the WAP.
And you got to do the WAP.
Do the WAP. You got to do the WAP for sure, no doubt.
So that's 1988.
Wow.
We were just getting into high school at that point. I just remember that, like the school dances and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was the real crossover.
That's
Rob
right.
Bass and It Takes Two was the crossover
Yeah.
hip hop into like the mainstream.
It really was. It's still high. How many years is that? You're in 2026.
Yeah, it's
That's
almost
like
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, it's still hot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, that was the summer of 1988. Rob
Mhm.
Bass. Yeah, rest in peace. 59 years old. 59 years old.
That's
And,
so young, though.
It is very young.
That's young. That's actually scary.
Yeah.
Cancer, right?
Yeah.
It's about a cancer. Yeah. Go get yourself checked. I've been fussing at somebody to go get checked. Go get checked out. I've been fussing at. I've been fussing at somebody to go make sure their health is, they're good because we want to make sure people are here for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? So it's important.
I'm here for a good time and a long time.
A good time and a long time.
Good time and a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
Yeah. I know I'm not alone though. So anybody out there who's watching, you're someone who doesn't really enjoy going to the doctors, being poked and prodded.
Go get checked up.
I'm still encouraging. I know. And I'm going to go. So
Yeah, please.
I'm going to go.
I told her I would even go with her.
He did.
I will book some time in my schedule to make sure this sister is okay. So we're going to make sure we hold her to it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling good. Everything's good. Just, I got to do my normal checkups. I'm at that age where I need to get my little normal checkups and things.
Yeah, we just want you to get checked out to make sure everything's all right.
There we go.
Yeah, that's all we want.
There
Yeah,
it goes.
for
It
sure.
takes two.
Yeah, it takes two. See?
Yeah.
There you go. See? Work for the
right. That's
episode.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So, yeah, 59 years old. That's nothing.
That's
You know
so
what I mean?
young. Yeah, for sure.
It's a young age. All right. Well, today's episode is entitled It Takes Two.
Yeah.
And it's more than just the song lyrics and the classic joint. It is really, as you know, podcast here, Slingshot the Podcast. It's really about these two major political parties. And it takes two of them to run a primary election in Pennsylvania. So that's the two we're talking about when we talk about It Takes Two.
And that's a problem. Something I've been saying for a long time. It shouldn't be two.
Shouldn't be two.
Yeah.
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 Well, as we're recording this today, we're just coming off of the primary election we just had on May 19th here in Pennsylvania. And there's other primaries happening across the country.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Pennsylvania politics, you understand that Pennsylvania is a closed primary system.
Yeah.
And that means that in order to vote in a primary election in May, sometimes our primaries in April during presidential election years, in order to vote in a primary election in Pennsylvania for a candidate, you must belong to the Democratic or Republican Party.
One of the two.
Period. Nothing else if you want to vote.
Yeah.
And so there's only a few, it's 8 states, I want to say. 8 states that are closed primary states. We're one of those 8. So there's not a lot A lot of other states have figured out how to open up their primaries or run different systems so that more people have the opportunity to be involved in voting. But in Pennsylvania, we have a closed primary system. So if you are not a Democrat or if you are not a Republican and registered as one of those two, you cannot vote for candidates in primary elections.
Ironically, for the most progressive and inclusive party wants to be exclusive when it comes to the primary, which is interesting.
I saw somebody today on my Facebook timeline was arguing, what's the big deal? If you don't want to belong to a party, then you shouldn't be able to choose the candidate in a primary for that party. That's the argument some make. Well, here's my comeback to that.
Okay.
You have so many right now, Pennsylvanians and others across the country, who do not want to belong to the Democrats or Republicans in this moment.
Yeah.
And since they don't want to belong to the party, that doesn't mean that just because they don't want to belong to the party doesn't mean they don't want to vote for candidates, right?
Agreed.
They still want to vote for people. They just don't want to belong to the party. Because a lot of people right now feeling like they don't agree with the entire platform of either party. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. You're never going to fall in love with everything.
Agreed.
Right.
But at the very least, the argument is trying to open a door of choice or options, right? They should be able to have the option to. Right. When you close the door or primary, you close the door to option.
Right.
That's the argument, I believe.
And not only that, but if you live in a place like Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or even somewhere in Clarion County where there's so many people of the same political party, the primary election is the general election. Here we are coming off of this election. We know whoever won the Congressional District 3 seat is going to win the general election in November. And so if you are not a registered Democrat, you could not vote for that person in May to put them up on the general for November, which they're likely going to win because there's just more registered Democrats in Philadelphia than Republicans. Yeah. So if you're not registered with a party, then you have no ability to put your person of your choosing on the ballot for November. Yeah. So essentially, you have no choice in November. You're going with what those who use their power had to say in May.
Right, which makes some feel, which we always have the argument about is, well, why should I vote then?
Right.
If my vote don't count, if you're saying right now that if, say, for example, I didn't get the opportunity to vote in a primary or the candidate that I wanted to, I didn't vote because I didn't want that. Then when I do have the opportunity to vote, you're saying that it pretty much doesn't matter because it is what it is at that point. That's the dilemma I think we're in. I don't know. It's six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Who's right? Who's wrong? That's the challenge, you know. But I get it. I do believe, I'm with the old mantra of your ancestors died for the right for you to vote, so you need to go vote. If that alone, that's where I stand on. But yeah, I'm not for the, better of the two evils. I'm not with that ideology, but it's about doing your civic duty. That's where I stand at. Yeah.
So there will be some people who are going to complain in November. They're going to get their ballot. They're going to see the ballot and be like, I don't want any of these people to win. Yeah. Well, guess what? You had the opportunity in May to show up to the polls and voice your vote.
You did. Yep, absolutely. I ain't mad at y'all, though. You have a right to be vote mad, though. Just vote mad. You got a right to be upset.
Stay mad but vote.
Stay mad.
Stay mad but vote. Because the general election then is the parties going against each other, right? So the primary elections are going against within their own party to figure out who the candidate or nominee is going to be for the general election. Yeah. So that's what happened in May. Now November comes up, and now it's the challenging parties against each other. Yeah. So we'll give away, some of this is that we know State Representative Chris Rabb won the congressional primary election in Philadelphia.
That said a lot.
Right, and that said a lot.
That said a lot.
People came out and they voted for him in this primary election, and so he will be on your ballot in November. Yeah. If you were not a Rabb fan, if he wasn't your number one candidate, well, in November you're going to either choose to vote for him, or if some independent runs against him for some reason. I don't believe there was a Republican challenger at all. So unless someone wants to do a write-in campaign or what have you, he's going to be a shoo-in because he's going to be the only person on the ballot.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely going to be a shoo-in. I think what was interesting, if you've seen how the district was laid out, or Philadelphia, how it was laid out, you were able to see who pretty much who linked to what, right? And it shows a lot about how people are feeling, especially in Philadelphia. And I think I think their vote spoke a lot, spoke very loudly about feeling the establishment is done and over with. They're tired of the same old. And, you hear a lot of the pushback with, Madam Mayor Parker, about how people feel about that. And I think that showed in this election too. So we'll see. See.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk more about these election results. So let's see what you did out there in Pennsylvania on May 19th, or before if you voted by mail. So stick around. We'll be right back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power, at New Millennium Multimedia Studios. All right, we're back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power, and it takes two. And what we're talking about today is it takes two political parties to run a primary election in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And boy, did we have an election on May 19th.
Yes, we did.
So let's get into some of these election results.
Mm-hmm.
So before I get into that, let's talk a little bit about the turnout. Turnout, not what folks were hoping for.
Yeah, very low.
Yeah, very low.
Usually low, though.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
During this time, it's usually the same
right.
thing.
Primary elections typically statewide, somewhere 22%, 24%. We're really happy when it gets to 30. But yeah, turnout very low. And so as a primary election, I have to tell you who turned out for which party, right? Because it's all based upon party turnout. Yeah. So the numbers that we have today, as of shooting this, because they'll probably change, everything's not certified yet. We don't have exact numbers yet. But it looks like 29% of Democrats turned out in Pennsylvania.
29%.
29%. So like 1 in 3 Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote and registered to vote turned out, and only 18% of Republicans turned out to vote in the primary election. We combine those, it's about a 23% turnout rate. And if you add those unaffiliated folks that can't vote for a candidate but could vote for ballot referendum questions, of which there were 2 in Philadelphia, turnout's about 20%. So we had about 20% turnout overall in this election. So 1 in 5 people made their voices heard at the ballot box. So what that means is we're allowing 1 in 5 people to have all the say in our politics because they're the ones that showed up for the primary election.
1/5 of a person.
Yeah, 1/5 of a person. Not even 3/5. 1/5.
1/5 of a person. Interesting.
Yeah. So a little more statistics here. We have about 1 million Democrats came out and voted, and about 630,000 Republicans came out to vote in Pennsylvania. And that's combined with election day voting and mail-in ballot voting.
I guess they said our people ain't in there, so we don't care. Yeah. We just going to vote anyway, though. Yeah.
The top vote getter was Governor Josh Shapiro in his reelection bid for the Democratic Party.
Shout out to Shapiro. I like Shapiro. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is where we are. Yeah. So, we had, I don't know, less than 2 million Pennsylvanians vote when you've got more than 8 million who are eligible to do it. You have...
I blame the establishment, though. I'm blaming them. I'm blaming the establishment.
What establishment?
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe, all right, so I'll just say it like this, right? I won't give the Republicans a pass, but I do kind of give them a pass. None of their peoples was represented, right? So they kind of felt like, I don't even feel like going out there to get wet, right? Because I think it was raining that day.
No, it was great weather.
It was
sunny,
great weather.
hot.
Yeah, so I can't even give y'all an excuse.
Yeah,
sorry about that, y'all. I tried it. But when you get to the point of promoting, right? There was a time when all you heard a particular establishment promote. Vote. I didn't hear any of that today. Yeah. I didn't hear any. Of course, your organization, but I mean, you're doing the hard lifting for pretty much the Pennsylvania, right? I didn't hear a lot of organizations talking about the need or this is the most important election. I didn't hear any of that. Yeah. And I have a problem with that because we just had an election, a presidential election, and you couldn't turn on anything without people saying this is the most important election and you should get out there to vote. This right here literally probably was one of the most important elections. And I didn't hear any major marketing or promotion or amplification about it. And I had a problem with it. I really did. Yeah.
Well, we could definitely do better. I'm giving you some of this voter turnout information. Shockers. Were you shocked about anything?
Little, yes.
What shocked you?
My guy Rab, shout out to Rab. He came in and pretty much just wiped the. If you look at the map, we was talking about the map. I can't believe how many of the people who he got to vote for him.
Yeah.
That was interesting because it seems like he started his campaign a little late. It appears that way anyway. I seen a lot of Ayla Stanford, Dr. Ayla Stanford. I seen a lot of her promotion marketing. I seen Street. So I'm a little partial to Street because I see the work that he do. I see him in the community. I seen him doing the work, and I was a little biased for him because when I see you in the street doing the work, I'm automatically for you. I never seen Rap. So when he came in, I was like, who's this guy? And so that's just me. That's just, I'll say the section of the city that I'm in. But if you look at the map, it makes sense because where I live at literally is all street, right? When you talk about West Philly. But then when you start to get to kind of like Uptown, West Oak Lane-ish, all of that.
Mount Airy,
you got rap, a lot of rap. And then when you get to the fake West Philly.
What's the fake West Philly?
Listen.
I'm not from Philly, so go ahead. I just went to Temple, lived on campus a little bit.
All right. When you start to get to like the art museum area and all that, that's not West Philly. When you start to get, they starting to kind of name certain sections, it's not West Philly, anyway. But when you get to that area, which was predominantly rap, I mean, like I was, Rittenhouse Square, of course, that's in the city. But certain areas that traditionally wouldn't be people who look like us, Queen Village, East Passyunk, shout out to all my Italian folk down there. Yeah, they spoke. They spoke very loudly, and they're saying that they want something differently. And that's why I say I think it was a pushback from the mayoral election. I think it was a little pushback, and they showed it in the vote. And that's, people are tired of the same thing, the same establishment. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think the Philadelphia Congressional District 3 race was a shocker for a lot of people. Because, you had Sharif Street, Senator Sharif Street, State Senator Sharif Street, had the backing and endorsements of some powerful people in Philadelphia, right? Labor unions, etc. Yeah. He's also
the mayor.
He has the last name of Street.
Yeah.
Right. He had the money. He had the endorsements of so many in the political party.
And he did the work. The work. Yeah.
And he didn't pull it out in the end.
I know.
Yeah, and it was pretty definitive too.
Yeah,
it was a three-way race, and Rap got a good amount of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this map up so you can take a look at this map so you can see what parts of Philadelphia went for Rab, what went for the good doctor, and went for the state senator, Sharif Street. But it's really telling. And guess what? The people who came out to vote had their voices heard.
That's right.
Right? And if you didn't come out to vote, then you can't complain.
That's right.
Because you had all the opportunity to come out and vote on May 19th or before a voting by mail. So I think that one shocked a lot of people. I can't say that there was any shocking results out in the capital region. I'm talking about Congressional District 10, which is the opportunity that Democrats would love to unseat U.S. Congressman Scott Perry. So that race went to the former TV anchor, Janelle Stelton, again. So it's a rematch of 2 years ago, where Perry and Stelton will go against each other. And people think this might be the year that Scott Perry loses it.
Maybe.
The other one people were watching. Yeah.
Yeah, people want change.
People want change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is a change year, incumbents are in trouble. And the other one that a lot of people were watching was Congressional District 1 in Bucks County with a little sliver of Montgomery County. And that is to try to unseat the long-serving Congressman, U.S. Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick. All right, so we got Bob Harvey, who's going to go up against him in November. And we'll see what Bucks County does. Is Bucks County done with the moderate Republican, or are they going to give the Democrat a try? So these are some of the races to look out for in November, just a few of them. But some exciting races. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and shout out to John Duchnesky. He's the one from the Philadelphia Inquirer who put together this map. The sources from the Philadelphia City Commissioners, U.S. Census Bureau. But I want you to leave in a comment, what do you notice about the map and how it's divided? I would love to hear some of your thoughts about this map. But the one thing this map does say, it says some of the ties, but I would like to know who.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah, or was it like a three-way tie?
Yeah, or three-way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's get a little bit into this argument about electability.
Yeah.
Because I recall, and I've talked about this on Slingshot The Podcast numerous times, that I know people who in 2008 decided not to vote for a man that's name was Barack Obama in the April primary that year because they did not believe that that man was going to win the Democratic nomination.
Yeah.
Not only did they not think he would win the Democratic nomination, they never thought he'd win the presidency. And so they decided in April of 2008 not to vote for him. They wanted him, but said, you know what, I don't think he's electable. So I'm not going to waste my vote, right, air quotes. I'm not going to waste my vote on him because I don't think he's going to win the general election. Well, guess what happened in 2008? Who won the Democratic primary?
That's right.
And then who went on to win the entire presidential race?
2 terms.
So when we talk about electability, who's electable? Because I know so many people who wanted somebody to win, but said, I'm not going to vote for this person because I don't think they'll win the general. This happened during Fetterman's run for the U.S. Senate, where so many said, you know, I'm going to vote for Fetterman because I think he has the best chance of winning the general election in November. So maybe they didn't vote for Malcolm Kenyatta. Maybe they didn't vote for Connor Lamb because they thought that Fetterman had the better shot at winning in November. So we'll never know the answer to that. But I'm sure there's a lot of folks in this moment who may be regretting their vote for Fetterman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Shout out to Malcolm Kenyatta.
Malcolm Kenyatta
out there doing the work. Again, out there doing the work. That's who I vote for. I don't care. Listen, my fellow Dems, I'm a registered Democrat, right? Thinks independently. I always sit on that, right? But I'm very disappointed. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, some final turnout numbers for those of you who are interested. Again, these aren't the final numbers. We'll get those soon once the election has been certified. But if we look at Philadelphia, what was the turnout in Philadelphia? There's a little more than 1 million Philadelphians who are eligible to vote and registered to vote. Except there's only like 207,000 of them that came out to vote. So not a lot of people, which made turnout for Democrats in Philadelphia 25%. But check this number out. What do you think the percentage was of Republicans that came out, that are registered to vote in Philadelphia, registered Republicans in Philadelphia? What percentage do you think came out?
I would say at least half.
Do you think turnout was higher for Republicans and Democrats?
Yeah, I mean, none of their people were there.
Right.
Yeah, so probably.
They had nothing really to vote for.
Yeah, so they probably was like, I ain't even coming out.
I'm not coming out. Yeah. So guess what the percent was? 8%.
8%
of Republicans turned out to vote in Philadelphia.
Wow.
8%. I mean, they had nobody running against, they had nobody running for the congressional seat. So who would they vote for?
8%.
And then the other thing they might have had would be the governor's race.
The way that this look at, if Republicans, we already know what generally, at least in Philadelphia, what Republicans look like. And a lot of them don't look like us, right? And so if you look at how these people voted,
that's how Democrats voted.
Yeah, how Democrats voted. I'm thinking that, a lot of people who are Republicans actually voted for that.
Well, they couldn't because it's a closed primary.
That's right.
And they
That's
had to
true.
vote for their own political party.
So then who was running?
They didn't have anybody.
Yeah, so how did they vote?
They didn't get to vote for that race. The only thing they had available to vote for was the governor's race.
The governor's
where they could
race,
choose who they wanted as the Republican candidate to go up against Shapiro for November.
That's right. See?
Yeah.
Learn something every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So this is the whole reason why we do this.
That's right.
Right. All right. Wow. So we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come right back. And when we come back, we're going to close this out. And we're going to talk about how folks aren't in love with either major political party right now.
You got that right.
And we don't throw any shade or shame on these folks because they've got their reasons. So stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of those reasons and see if they can be overcome or not. All right. Stick around. We'll be right back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast. This is more than just a podcast. This is a movement to inspire and motivate and mobilize. This is for those whose voices have been unheard, misunderstood, undervalued, and underserved. We're going to talk about sports, culture, entertainment, and we're going to use this to build power in our communities. Welcome back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast. Today's episode is It Takes Two. And those two we're talking about are the two major political parties. And in Pennsylvania, primary elections are run by Democrats and Republicans. And if you don't belong to one of those two major political parties, there's no voting for candidates for you. So let's talk about why this is a problem as it relates to turnout. Because if you are someone who is not registered as a Democrat or Republican, and you are only registered as either unaffiliated, or maybe you belong to the independent party, or maybe you belong to the rent is too damn high party, or maybe you're a libertarian or a green, you cannot vote for anybody in the primary election.
Yeah.
You just stay home.
That's right.
Unless there's some ballot referendum question for you to answer. And so this is a problem if we want turnout, if we want everyone to be involved in the democratic process. Many argue you need to open up these primaries and allow independents or unaffiliated folks to decide which ballot they want. They walk into the polling location and they say, I'm registered unaffiliated, but today I like the Republican ballot, right? And they get the Republican ballot. Or they can make their decisions. It's run different ways in multiple states, how they open up primaries. But for us here in Pennsylvania, if you don't belong to the Democrats or Republicans, you can't vote.
Can't vote.
So this is a problem for a lot of reasons. Right now, here's the T-shirt here, New Pennsylvania. Here's the sweatshirt, New Pennsylvania Project, right?
Yeah, shout out.
New Pennsylvania Project. Shout out to the organization. Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to your staff, man.
Shout out to the staff doing the hard work on the ground. And they were absolutely doing all the hard work on the ground right ahead of the election.
Wait, Khadija, I'm going to let you finish,
Yes.
but your organization is the greatest organization of all time. Shout out to your staff, man. Your staff have been holding it down. Yeah. Knocking on
5
doors,
years.
supporting you. When people were acting crazy and goofy, they were standing 10 toes down like I dare you to do any. You got a dynamic group of folks. Shout out to your organization.
Shout out to the organization, New Pennsylvania Project. So I'll tell you this. When we are doing voter registration, our team is providing civic education. That's like one of the number one things we do is we provide that civic education. We call it customer service. Because there are so many customers out there on the ground who need to learn more about civics so that they can make some informed decisions.
Yeah.
And so whenever we're getting someone registered to vote, we will say to them as they're getting to the area where they're about to choose their political party, as a non-partisan organization, we're not trying to sway them one way or another. We just want them to choose a party because we know if they don't choose a party, they cannot vote in a primary election. And so we say to them all the time, please choose Democrat or Republican so that you can vote in the primary election. You can always change your affiliation back after the election. You can change your affiliation as many times as you want. You could wake up in the spring and be a Democrat and go to bed in the fall and be a Republican. Right? You can do whatever you want to do. You can change that registration as many times as you want. But if ahead of the primary, you need to have a party if you want to vote for candidates. So that is one of the great things our organization does when we do voter registration. We make sure people choose a party.
Knock on doors.
And that's why for us, only about 18% of those we register to vote choose to be unaffiliated. Now that is great compared to statewide numbers that can, get to almost a third of voters.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm speaking specifically about the DMV. That's one of the top places people go to get registered to vote, the DMV.
Interesting.
Because it's automatic voter registration with an opt-out system at the DMV. So when you go to renew your driver's license or get one for the first time and you're of age and you're a citizen of this country, they're going to say to you, would you like to opt out of being registered to vote today? And if you do not opt out, they are going to register you to vote because they have all of your information. They know your address, right? They know whether or not you are qualified of age to be registered to vote. So what happens, though, at the DMV is there is no civic education happening at the DMV. Yeah. Nobody behind that desk. I shout out to my cousin who worked at the DMV. There is no civic education that is happening behind that desk at the DMV. They're not saying to anybody that chooses to not opt out, they're not saying to them, Now, you know you got to choose one of these parties if you want to vote in the primary. That conversation does not cross their lips. So what you have in the DMV are so many people choosing to be unaffiliated from a political party. When given the ability to do so, that's what people want to do in Pennsylvania. It's almost a complete even split between the three, between Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated at the DMV. I got cussed out on Facebook not too long ago.
People, I told you, stop reading them comments.
No,
man.
but these are my friends.
Oh, okay.
They were like, we don't believe your numbers. We don't believe that many people are choosing to be unaffiliated.
Wow.
And so what do? What I always do, drop them receipts.
Drop them receipts.
Drop them receipts. And absolutely, people at the DMV are choosing to be unaffiliated.
I can see why.
In big numbers.
That's right.
So
I can see why.
You said one of these earlier. You said the reason why people don't want to belong to the Democrats or Republicans. What do you hear on the street?
I hear a lot of things that they don't listen. Like when you tell them to vote for X, Y, and Z, but then when the election come up, it's like, oh no, don't have an opinion now, but vote over here. That's a problem. Like, they're tired of this is the most important election. They're tired of the establishment. They're tired of being told what to do. They're tired of being, fingers being waved at them. How could you? How dare you? They're tired. People are just tired.
Yeah.
People are just tired. And I'm one of those people. I mean, like I said, I'm unapologetically a Democrat, but I say I'm a Democrat who thinks independently with some Republican views. And I believe that's a lot of the people these days. What we have known as the quote unquote Democrat, the traditional Democrat, no longer is traditional. So now we have to define what's tradition now. What's traditional? Are we talking about the old way of thinking, which is no longer progressive, so to speak, right? That becomes a little bit more moderate. Now you have different parties, you have different affiliations, working people, you have you have a lot of people choosing sides that don't necessarily fit neatly in what we deemed as a democratic think tank, democratic thought. And that's the problem right now.
Yeah. Well,
I love my Dems though, but y'all gotta do better.
All of them need to do better. All political parties need to do better in communicating to who it is you want to represent or who you want your candidate to win under. So I say this because the argument we hear a lot on the ground is the two parties are the same.
Yep.
Right. I guess I'm going to vote, but I'm voting for the lesser of the two evils.
I hate that. Yep.
Yeah.
And we always told that, vote for the lesser of the two evils. This is the most important election of all time, But again, you have a younger generation that's like, some of you old fogies don't want to pass the baton. Yeah. Y'all don't want to listen to innovation, what's happening now. You still want to think of the old way of thinking, and no one is thinking that way anymore. It's just unfortunate because, I'm a big, and even to the point of what you guys do, knocking on doors. There was a time knocking on doors, you could knock on a door and you knocked on a neighbor's door and they like, hold up, she didn't answer the phone. Hold up. Let me go over to Miss Johnson's house real quick. Let me get Miss Johnson out the bed. Now you don't even know who your neighbor is.
Yeah.
So that whole idea of knocking on doors, that may get ready to change. The community vibe essence of what it used to be today. It isn't. So we had to think differently. We didn't have social media back then. And some of those quote unquote old ways of thought don't even consider social media. They turn on the TV. Yeah. Some of these kids ain't even watching TV. They're watching YouTube University.
Yeah. We surveyed our staff during our all staff call this week, and many of them said, we asked, where are you getting your news from? Yeah. What are your sources? Instagram?
See?
Right? Like Instagram is where they're getting their information. But it's not Instagram that's giving the information. It's somebody sharing something to Instagram.
To Instagram, that's right. That's right. So, which goes to the point of strategy, right? Because, I'm a strategist, and you talk about marketing. You need to understand, look at the playbook. You watching the playbook. You already see what's going on. Jump on the playbook and create strategic initiatives based around that. Yeah. How many times since the first show have I said, when I say we, I say even the Democrats, right? We need a Project 2025. I still haven't heard anything about strategies that the Democratic Party is doing to progress.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard. We're so divided.
And
we can't
this
even do
leads
that.
to folks being able to say, I'm voting for the lesser of two evils, or the two parties are the same,
Yes,
because they
that's right.
don't hear that is different.
That's right. That part.
Yeah.
I wish I had applause. I don't have applause.
Yeah, we used to have the applause.
I know, right? It's not on here no more.
Well, here's what I say when I hear this argument on the ground, because I was out knocking on doors on election day in Norristown, Montgomery County. And I was knocking on doors under the umbrella of the unaffiliated organization, the affiliated organization, New PA Project Education Fund. So we were knocking on doors in a nonpartisan way. We were just encouraging people to go out and vote. We didn't care which political party they belonged to. We just wanted them to go out and vote. And we were providing civic education to the independents or unaffiliated folks to let them know they weren't going to be able to vote because there was nothing on the ballot for them to vote for. So we were providing that civic education. And so what we were hearing on the ground from people was, number one, they were relieved that we were knocking on their doors, not belonging to the political parties, because they don't want the political parties, some of them knocking on their doors, because they're not happy with either one. So when we knock on the door and say, hello, I'm Kadita with the New PA Project Education Fund, we're a voting rights organization, then the door opens up, they smile, they're put at ease, the back, loosens, and then they're ready to have a conversation. Okay, what's going on? And we're like, it's primary election time. It's primary election day. Are you ready to go vote? And then they're like, vote for what? There's an election today?
See?
Vote for what? There's an election today? Yep. I can't tell you how many conversations our team had like that.
I just said there was no promotion based around this at all.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, well.
Because you know what they could do? All of them, like, say, for example, Street. Street had a lot of money to spend. Dr. Stanford had a lot of money to spend. I'm sure Rab had a couple dollars. They could at least came to a point it was like, hey, we're going to put a certain number in a pot just for promoting to come out to vote for this particular election.
Right.
That wouldn't hurt anyone.
Right. And that's what I was calling for. I was calling for a PSA to happen. Right? Like they put all of your money together and all of you as a group.
That's it.
Wouldn't you love that if the three candidates all got on a one ad together and said, come out and vote?
Just come out to vote. Period.
Right? What could have happened if the three of them got on one camera together and said, come out and vote?
They had enough money to do it. They literally could have did that.
And you know who could have really done it is the political parties, right? The political parties supposed to pay for that.
Establishment. Now we go. Anyway.
Right.
See?
But this is the problem, though, right?
Try not to cook them.
Because the job of the party is to get their candidate elected.
Yeah.
Right? That's in the November elections. The job of a party is to get their candidate elected.
But that's still, but it's kind of like arguing in circles because all of them was part of the party.
Yeah. But some, in the party made their endorsements, right? And spoke up and said who they were in favor of.
True, right. But that was them.
Yeah.
Together, they're all running for a particular seat for a particular party.
You know how powerful it would have been to have, I'm pitching this right now, somebody.
Please.
To have all three of those candidates on one camera and say, May 19th election day, go out and vote for one of us.
Vote for one of us. It wouldn't hurt any of them.
None of them.
But market everything.
Right.
That's how you amplify voice. You have to collaborate in some type of way. You didn't have to say, come vote for me. Just come vote for one of us. Yeah. Whichever one you would like to, we are all running. Come out and vote.
Right.
Imagine the power of reach that all of them would have together and how many times that commercial would run.
Yes.
And do the ad just strictly on social media.
And it is a PSA. It's a public service announcement. Because number one, it would have made people aware that there's even an election because they had no idea. Then they would have saw, oh my God, why are all the Democrats together running against each other? Because they didn't understand primaries or when parties run against each other, right, in a primary election. So many things could have been solved. And here's the thing. Nobody wants to give up that money to run that PSA because they'd rather put their money behind a particular candidate.
But the candidates could have did it.
Yeah. With their money that they received.
That's what I can't. You can't make this up. You can't make it up.
Yeah. All right. I could argue about this all day. And it's getting very hard now. I've been in this game now 5 years trying to register folks to vote in Pennsylvania. It's getting very hard to overcome the objections that they have right now. It's getting very hard. It gets harder every day to overcome the two parties are the same or I need to vote for the lesser of two evils. Now, I know, right, as an educated woman, I understand that these two parties are not the same. I understand that.
Right.
One is in favor of gutting the Voting Rights Act, the other not so much.
Right.
But what the people want is they want the people who are not in favor of gutting the Voting Rights Act to do something. Not to just say I'm against it, What are you doing? Otherwise, to the layman out there, it is the two parties are doing the same things.
Yep.
Right? And when you say the lesser of two evils, well, no, it's not the lesser of two evils when you have one party who is saying, let's put together a slush fund for the January Sixers. And the others are like, why are we giving away $1.8 billion to folks who rioted in the White House?
See, I keep talking about my party, but that's what gets me ruffled about my party.
Yeah.
Because we've been arguing about reparations for years.
Right.
Years.
Somebody hope you were listening to what we're saying here right now, where we're saying when people say the lesser of two evils or the two parties are the same, they're asking for what is it that the other party is doing to stop the bad thing they don't like.
That's right.
And when you have no solution, they just are stuck with the two parties are the same.
That's right.
You've got to do something. You've got to do something.
Have to.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is pretty good. We had a lot of conversation.
Yep.
I hope people learn some things out there about primary elections and why you need to be voting in them. Make sure that you choose a major political party before next May so that you can vote in the primary election. Now, you don't have to belong to any political party to vote in November. Doesn't matter if you're unaffiliated, Green Party, Libertarian, whatever. You can vote for whoever as long as you just go out and vote in the November general election. So I hope that you do that. Any last words?
No last words. You might drop that.
I did mic drop that. I hope people were listening to what we had to say. You want to overcome the two parties are the same argument? You want to overcome the lesser of two evils argument? Do something.
That's right.
It's not enough just to say that you're against the thing. What are you doing to stop the bad thing? Okay. With that, we want to wish you all a great day. Thank you for joining Slingshot the Podcast. I hope there were some folks that got woke today.
Wake up.
Wake up. All right. With that, enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for making Slingshot the Podcast part of your day. Let us know what you think about today's conversation. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. I'm Kadita Kenner, and you're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power.